Real talk, real impact, unfiltered and unapologetic. This is FemmeIcon.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Mahvish Akhtar with another episode of FemmeIcon. So today we're talking about the logistics of therapy. Did I add that in the? Yeah, I didn't. I don't know if I can do that after the live has started. I didn't add the topic here. I have no idea if that could be done after the live. No, probably not. I'll leave it be. Yeah, so we're talking about the logistics of, I'm still checking if I can somehow, add the topic. And, I don't see a way. If any of you who are joining know a way of adding the topic to this, please do let me know. Yeah. So we thought that this topic was, important to share because we here have been talking about importance of getting therapy and what psychological issues are. Walaikum assalam. And what psychological issues are and what happens when you are when you feel like you do need help, and all of those things that are extremely important, of course, but we never really talk about how to go about it, and yeah, we've told you, hey, call us, or text us or DM us, but beyond that, we don't really go beyond that, right? We don't really tell you, what the whole process is, because, as well as we know, it's not a simple process. It's not just pick up the phone and call, right? Or just DM us and that's it. Because you're discussing your psychological issues with somebody, because you're discussing something so private with somebody, it is more than that. It takes a while to get into that space of, and most of us know, I know, I've been in therapy. I probably should be again, because any life change, any kind of life change, any kind of thing that is bothering you, that's weighing on you, I feel like anybody should, in that kind of situation, should get therapy, or consider it at least. And you have to think about it. You're trusting people with your innermost thoughts and your secrets and your life events, and that person needs to be somebody who means something, who's important. That person has to be important too, and we do have to understand that those people are human beings. So you do have to think of them as people before therapists. So first of all, we're going to answer the question of why therapy, right? We're not going to go into much detail, but my shoe fell off and I hit the stand. So the most important thing is to remember that therapy doesn't have to be because you think that you have a huge problem, that you have some kind of illness. First of all, if you do, or you feel that you do, or somebody close to you who cares about you is telling you that you might, there is nothing wrong with it. Like we have been saying all this week, and and if you've been following Femmerepublica, that we have been discussing psychological disorders, and it is clear that if you do, it's just like having any other kind of illness and any other kind of chronic disease, or even non-chronic, that can be taken care of very easily by psychotherapy or a medication or a combination of two. So there's nothing wrong with that. But even if you don't, even if you're just having trouble sorting things out, just have had a, string of situations that are weighing you down, even if you can sort it out, but it's just weighing you down. You need someone to talk to. You need help with your relationships, be it your husband, your parents, your friends, your work situations. There's so much that weighs us down that makes it harder for us to function. And sometimes it may not even be that it's harder for us to function. Sometimes it may be that, you just want to talk to somebody. And when you have the ability to find someone, when you have people who are ready to help us, and why not? And a lot of times you don't want to burden your friends and family because they have their own things going on, right? I mean, that's true for all of us, a lot of us. Because, little things, but then they're not able to guide us. Even if you do burden them with even our bigger problems, they're not qualified a lot of times to guide us because their emotions dictate how they feel about the situation. They may care about us too much, not to purposefully misguide us. But that happens, that they might be too invested in one side or the other, right, to give us a certain kind of advice because they are not professionals. They just love us and care about us. One kind of advice or the other that isn't the best thing for us or the other person, who are both good people and might not benefit from it. So getting somebody who doesn't have any emotional investment, but does know, is experienced, has gotten education for these kinds of situations is probably the right person to go to get suggestions and advice and deal with these kinds of things. All right, so Anam's asking, do you deal in child psychology, general behavior patterns in kids who are not teens? It depends on the age group. I personally usually deal with tweens and teens. I don't do younger than that, but we do have psychologists who deal with younger children. So we can accommodate that if you need help with that. Just DM us or email us at wellness@FemmeRepublica.com, or you can call us at the number that we have on our profile on our website, so we can help you out. So these are the reasons that we wanted to, basically the reasons, and you guys know that this does help out, and there's no harm in trying. And if it doesn't work out, it's not a commitment. It's not like you're signing a contract. Try it. It doesn't work for you. It's not for you. Obviously we think that it's for everybody, but if you feel it's not for you, hey, that's your opinion. We'll let you have it. You can have your opinion. Now, how to start? What to do? Because I know it's difficult. It's difficult to get to that point where if you have never had therapy before, where you get to that point of, okay, I want to talk to somebody who's a complete stranger. And the biggest fear is, what if this gets out? What if other people find out about it? And for people who are private, like me, I'm an extremely private person. I'm not anymore, because now I believe in using what I've been through or what I see to help others. And that I'm 48 years old. I'm about to be 49 this year. I was about to count backwards. I was about to say 47 because I don't know why. I was counting backwards. That's how hard it is for me but off topic. But point is that it took me decades to come to the point where I'm able to talk about things. And not because I'm ashamed or embarrassed or anything like that. I'm not that kind of person. But it happened because I just didn't like talking about myself. That just wasn't something that I was okay with. So going to therapy just seemed like I understood the importance of it, but it just seemed like so much work. Like somebody's going to ask me about myself and I'm going to talk to them. But I knew that I needed to because there was so much going on. So it took me a while. Even when I went for therapy, it was hard for me to open up and answer, just, hey, what's going on, and what they were asking me and how, and I got some good ones. I, was super lucky that I got off the bat. I had people who were, therapists who were super accommodating and very, very patient. So I understand the whole, even not being able to open up, and also the whole, it's difficult to talk to people and then think about, what if I see them somewhere? What if we have an encounter? What if they tell somebody? What if this happens? What if that happens? And these are all real fears. And I understand those fears. We all do. And there are simple answers for that, and we'll get to those in a minute. We'll talk about all of these things because these things are important to talk about. Because these are important things. Because that should not be happening. Those should not be fears that we go into with therapy. Because the whole point is to talk within a very, very safe and non-judgmental space, and not worry about, oh, I can't talk about this, this will get out. Oh, does this person that I'm talking to know so-and-so? And will they find out? Or if somebody does find out, you're worrying about it in my therapist. Tell them, because I didn't tell anybody else. But ye cheezein should not be a part of fears when you're talking to your therapist. Now, so we'll go over first the steps. First of all, you have to be ready in your mind. कि मुझे ये करना है, and my therapist, whoever I pick, will not go to anybody, will not tell anyone. This is not something that happens. So you have to pick the right person for that. And it doesn't have to be the first person you go to. So search. इतने अब तो अगर हम online की बात कर रहे हैं, और आप face to face भी कर सकते हैं. It doesn't have to be just somebody who's online. आप फेस टू फेस भी कर सकते हैं, और आप ऑनलाइन है, वीडियो कॉल है, जस्ट चैट है, जिस तरह भी आप कंफर्टेबल हैं. बट जितना ज़्यादा आप, जिसे कहते हैं ना, एक्सप्रेशन के साथ हो सके, लाइक चैट इज लीस्ट अमाउंट ऑफ आपको वो मिलता है, लाइक आपको फेस टाइम मिलता है. लाइक वी नीड टू सी हाउ you're talking, your body language, your face expressions. So obviously face to face is the best case scenario. But a lot of time, okay, so I can't find the website for the course info. If you go on, if you go on the bio right here on Femmerepublica ki bio, the Instagram page, you should see the form for the course. And depends on which course you're talking about. Right now, jo abhi shuru ho raha hai, most recent course, that's the self-actualization through the Quran. And uske baad dusre shuru ho rahe hain. So I'm not sure which course you want to sign up for. And I'll note down your name, so I can also have the team send you. That's Anam_Shajil. Information. Yeah. Information about the courses that are coming in. But you'll see information in the coming days, inshallah. So, where was I? Yeah. So, obviously, face-to-face. All right, yeah. So, obviously, face-to-face is the best. But uske baad, I know that, it's easier and more convenient to do it online. And then video is better, and conversation on the phone or just like that is even, is better than chat. Chat is the least effective, I would say, because obviously expressions pass on nahi hote, tone pass on nahi hoti, bahut sari is tarah ki cheezein hain jo usme convey nahi hoti. जहाँ तक हमारा ताल्लुक है फेमरेपब्लिका का, हमारी सर्विसेज का, we make sure that it is absolutely private. Nobody can get to your records besides you. And if somebody does want your records, we won't even give it to them. If you say कि हाँ, it's okay to give it to them, we will only hand it to you. If you say कि हाँ, ये मेरी बहन है, ये मेरे father हैं, ये मेरे husband हैं, इनको दे दें, we don't do that. We will only give it to you. We'll say, okay, आप आएं और आप हमें कहें, या आपकी email पे हम भेज देंगे, या आपकी WhatsApp पे भेज देंगे, but we will not send it to a third person. If you want to give it to a third person, you give it to them yourself. So your records are discreet. Everything you say to us, to your therapist, by us I mean to your therapist, is private. there is no sharing of ये सबसे बेहतर जो होता है ज़ाहिर है you're welcome सबसे obviously important चीज़ तो यही होती है कि your information is not going to go anywhere. दूसरा है कि जो आप conversation में अपने therapist से बात कर रहे हैं, that also doesn't go anywhere. Now, on occasion, if your therapist needs help with helping you, right? Like some situation comes up where they are not sure how to deal with it, they might consult a senior, like the psychologist or psychiatrist that might be training them. In that case, they will get your permission that, in this particular situation, I would like to talk to my superior. I want to talk to my trainer who's been working with me, helping me. Can I discuss your case with them? Even that scenario, they will not discuss your name or who you are, any details about you. They will just say, I have a client, they have this issue, and I would like help resolving it. And that's it. So your name will not come up. You will not come up. Your particular situation will come up. They won't say they live in this city and they have this many brothers, this many sisters, this parents do this. No, not unless it's relevant to the exact situation. They will just, जो relevant चीजें हैं, नाम और particulars निकाल के, उसको रख के, and they'll just discuss the case and get help. Or whatever they may need. Which is very, very rare. Obviously, ऐसे होता नहीं है कि आपको इस तरह. We don't have that kind of. अगर we have fresh psychologists and counselors, लेकिन हम उनको general training देते हैं और general case studies जो उन topics पर जिनको difficult लग रहे हैं उन पे general case studies पढ़ा के और सब करके train कर देते हैं. We don't really need them to come to us with their cases that or clients that they're working on. लेकिन कभी कभार ऐसे हो जाता है, but that's how we deal with them. So, how do you search for अब इसके भी हम डिटेल में भी जाएंगे, उसी में ये बात आ जाएगी, ये confidentiality and this and that, सब डिटेल में आ जाएगा. This is just a rough thing I'm telling you. So, how do you find the right one? You look for it. हमारी website पे, you go to the website. You have names there. If you are not sure names there or qualifications se pata nahi lagta, of course, you can call us up. You can tell us what you need. Particularly, you can talk to me, right? You can tell me अपना कोई detail ना बताएं कि मुझे थोड़ा सा बहुत इस तरह की feeling हो रही है या किसी और psychologist से बात कर लें, and they will match you up with the right person. क्योंकि हर psychologist की अपनी एक वो होती है specialty होती है. Because therapy एक तरह की नहीं होती. There's multiple types of therapy. So depending on what kind of help you need, आपको जिस तरह की therapy के वो expert हैं और आप जिस category में fit होते हैं, we can direct you to that type of therapy. For example, if you say I need a doctor, doctors are so many professions, right? You go with a stomach pain. What will they do? They will check you up and down and then say, okay, you need to go to a stomach doctor who, you have आपको मीज़े का problem है या आपकी kidneys में kidneys हैं, liver है, like पेट में तो बहुत सारी चीजें हैं ना, so kidneys हैं, liver है, or you have your intestines are problematic, your bladder. So each cheese ka doctor is different, right? It's the exact same thing. When you go for therapy, and that's why we're going to use the word therapy and psychotherapy rather than psychologists, because psychologists have different kinds of therapy that they do. ठीक है ना? So somebody might talk to you and say, you might just need CBT. That's all you need. You might need to be psychoanalyzed in a different way. You might need this. And then we'll direct you to that person. And if we don't have that person on our team, we will direct you to a different organization who does that, who has that person on their team. So you're going to have to find that out when you contact our team or किसी और organization को. Now, that's what you do. you call and you say कि मुझे इस तरह की feeling हो रही है, मुझे थोड़ा सा, I'm just feeling down, or ये issue आ गया था, उसके बाद से I'm just like, I don't know, I don't feel myself, या मुझे थोड़ी सी help चाहिए, मैं इसको कैसे resolve करूँ. मेरी इस बात पे लड़ाई हो रही है, parents saying I don't know how to get over it, and I have these toxic friends and I don't know how to deal with them, or I need a raise at my workplace, my boss won't give me time of day, क्या करूँ मैं, किस तरह, and who do I talk to? And then we'll guide you towards, थोड़े से 2-4 सवाल करके, we'll guide you towards the person that is right for you. So that's like a general process. अब if you feel कि हमने जिस psychologist या therapist के पास आपको recommend किया है, it is okay if you feel कि that person is not right for you. Take 2 to 3 sessions with them, because पहले session में you're not going to be able to tell. Because what happens is कि अब आप normally भी देखें, like when you meet a person for the first time, you only have 1 hour with them, you're talking. 15-20 मिनट तो आपको ऐसे ही निकल जाते हैं, just to kind of learn their name, where they live, उसी तरह से. You don't know if you click with that person. You need at least 2-3 hours with that person, right? Therapists are therapists, of course, but they're also human, right? So you need 2-3 sessions to figure out if you click with that therapist and if आप लोगों का एक वो बन रहा है. Again, I said you need to feel safe with them. You need to feel that they're non-judgmental. और भी चीज़ें इसमें add होंगी. We'll go in detail. हम अभी सिर्फ how to pick a therapist पे बात कर रहे हैं. And again, we are concentrating on therapists because, like I said, के psychologists की अपनी एक वो होती हैं. हर एक की अपनी specialty होती है. Along with that, we have counselors and we have coaches, because they also, counselors and coaches, you don't have to worry about what they do, but they're also kind of do the same thing, helping with solving your issues and problems, and that's our job to decide for you, okay, what is the best course of action for you, and we will tell you. That's another thing that when you go, you can ask and you can discuss and say, okay, what are you going to do with me? How will we proceed? And again, we'll get into that in a minute. So it is up to you to decide. 2-3 sessions लें, आपको नहीं suitable लगता, you can say, look, कुछ बात नहीं बन रही है, मुझे नहीं लग रहा. You can be honest. You have to be honest and open with your therapist. And that's another sign of a good therapist. If you tell them, okay, look, I don't know, it doesn't seem to be working. कुछ, I don't know, मुझे हो रहा है कि हमारा कुछ बन नहीं रहा है. They should not get offended and they should understand. They should say, okay, आपको क्या issues आ रहे हैं? मैं उसके हिसाब से, maybe I'll try to adjust. Or they should say, okay, आपकी क्या needs हैं? मैं उसके हिसाब से आपको जो है वो हमारी जो administration है, मैं उनको आपके बता देती हूँ requirements, and then we can pass you to somebody who's more suitable for you. अगर इन 2 response के अलावा आपको कोई response मिल रहा है, तो you should complain about that person, because they're not able to either do their job or they're just having a bad day. We're all human, right? Either way, it needs to be fixed. Whatever that is, it needs to be fixed. Because you cannot get upset about this. You cannot, it could just be, it doesn't mean they're a bad therapist. It just means that you are not clicking with them, that they're not the therapist for you. So their reaction shouldn't be getting upset or telling you that you're not doing your job right, because you don't have a job in this scenario. It just means that aapka click nahi hua and they need to let you move on or change something if they can. Now, we talked about privacy. Again, they have to maintain that level of privacy, even if they do not continue with you. You are allowed to demand, अगर आप उनके साथ जल्दी भी बेशक पार्ट कर रहे हैं, या आपने पूरा अपना जो भी आपका थेरेपी का एक वो था, बाज़ों का therapy lasts for years, बाज़ों का it's few months, या अगर आपने decide किया कि no, I don't want to continue with you, you can ask for जिसको NDA कहते हैं, non-disclosure agreement, or whatever else that is available. आप उनसे कह सकते हैं कि they cannot talk to anybody about it. जो भी डिस्कस हुआ है. वैसे तो it's unethical and it's illegal कि आपके records कहीं पे भी medical records, किसी भी तरह के medical records कहीं पे भी बाहर जाएं, but you can still demand it, and we have that. We have a release that can be signed and given to you, but then you can still start up with a different therapist. लेकिन उस therapist की तरफ से आपको एक मिल जाएगा कि जो भी discussion आपने अभी तक की है, वो records from that particular therapist, will not pass on to anybody. I'm sorry. Call baar baar aa rahi hai and I'm getting distracted. So, that's the main process. Just figure out. All right. Assalamu alaikum to everyone who's joined since. I see you, and I just don't want to break my flow. I get distracted very easily. In case you guys have not noticed. So I hope this is clear. Okay, you just have to find the right organization and then the right person. And that right person doesn't have to be the first person or the second person. And don't get disheartened because, I've tried this one person and that second person and therapy is not for me. Or मैंने 3 sessions कर लिए हैं, 4 sessions कर लिए हैं और नहीं, बस it's not working, अभी तक कोई फायदा नहीं हुआ और 6 sessions हो गए. No, it takes time. It takes effort. Especially if your problems are rooted in your childhood or if they go back a long time or if you've been struggling with them and if you don't know what the problem is. If you're just like, I have had this bad feeling for a long time और मुझे नहीं पता कि क्या feeling है और मुझे नहीं पता कि मुझे क्यों हो रही है, then it's going to take a long time. Right? It's going to take a while. So give yourself time. Give your therapist a bit of time. सबको grace period चाहिए. And it is frustrating. It does make you angry sometimes. It's okay to be angry and frustrated and emotional about it. कि क्या मसला यार, मुझे क्या problem है, क्यों, why can't I figure it out? लेकिन just stick with it. Give it some time and be open. When you find the right therapist, be open with them. Discuss openly because this is a collaboration, you have to understand. You're not going to just tell them your problems and they're going to solve them for you. No, that's not how therapy works. It's going to be, sorry, blocking my light. It's going to be, basically you're going to solve your problems because you know yourselves and you know the people that you're talking about and that you are discussing with your therapist. So they're just going to make a roadmap kind of for you to get to the solutions. They're not going to say, I think you should do this, and then you'll do it, and then problem solved. They're going to create a roadmap. They're going to make things, come to you, make it clear for you, make it, but it's not going to happen overnight because they have to learn so much about you. They have to learn about what's happened and why it's happened, and then they have to make you understand it. And then you will come up with solutions. So it has to be a collaborative affair. It has to be both of you discussing and opening up, and they have to put in the work, but then you have to put in the work. So it will take time, but you will have to, also do the work. So दोनों parties को मिलके काम करना पड़ता है. Like, what you should be expecting from therapy, there are a few things. Like I said, it's collaborative process. Don't expect answers. They help you uncover the answers, but you have to uncover them. They'll just try to make a roadmap to get to the answers. Again, non-judgmental space, a safe space. That's what the therapist has to give you. Okay, they have to give you professional trainings. We're talking about the logistics of therapy and what to expect from a therapist and what they are supposed to be doing for you and what you can do to make the process of therapy easier for yourself. So yeah, non-judgmental therapy, and they should be non-judgmental, and they should create a safe space for you. Now, when I said they should have a roadmap, they should be giving you the roadmap as you go along, and they should be collaborating. You should both be collaborating with one another. Along with that, you should have agreement on the goals and tasks. Like there will be, of course, like you collaborate, you discuss, okay, so this is what we're doing next, and this is what we're doing next, but you should have an agreement on all of it. If the therapist said, I think we should do this with you, if you're not convinced of it, it's not going to work. If you say, look, I think we should proceed in this direction, and therapist is like, this is not the best direction for you, and you still say, no, I think I want to try it, it's not going to work very well, right? So, or if the therapist suggests something and you say, I don't think I'm going to do that. I don't think this feels like me. Again, it's not going to work. So you have to work together to come to something that you both feel like, okay, this is going to work for you. And you feel like, yeah, I can give it a try. Okay, good. So that's how it's going to work. And sometimes I would suggest that, you should give it a try when the therapist is suggesting something. Of course, if it makes you truly uncomfortable, no, don't try it. But a lot of the things that you haven't tried before are things that might work. Give it a try at least once, because of course there are many things that you haven't tried, and maybe that is why things are not changing for you, right? Because you haven't tried those things. And maybe that is the difference between things getting better and things staying the same or going towards getting worse. So give it a try once or twice. And if it doesn't seem like it's going to work for you, it's okay. Don't go back to it. That's just a suggestion coming from a person who does therapy. But I just wanted to add that in there. All right, so there are some questions that you can ask yourself while you're in therapy, or you're thinking about it seriously, or you have set up an appointment, because we've talked about how to set up an appointment. And I hope that's clear. And if you have any questions about how, or anything I missed in the middle, you're welcome to ask. So, again, do you feel understood? Do you feel that they are actually getting your problem, or they're understanding you as a person? And if they're not, then, maybe you need to talk to them about it, discuss it openly, or deal with it in ways that we talked about earlier. Do they respect boundaries? And again, that comes back to the topic that we were talking about privacy and keeping things extremely discreet, because, see, this is a professional relationship, right? You're paying them, and then they're providing you services. It should be a very clear-cut thing. You come to us, you say, hey, we need therapy. And we say, all right, these are the charges. And then we give you a service. It should be a very, very clear-cut thing, but it's not, because then we sit and we talk about the most personal things. So it is very hard sometimes to have those clear boundaries where it should not go beyond certain limits. One of them is, like we said, we don't talk about anything involving your life outside of the particular setting, which is in our case, because we are online, when we're sitting here and you are in front of our phones or our computers, right? And that boundary should be very clear, that we should be following that boundary. And outside of this scenario where we're here and you're on the other end of our phone or computer, it should be very clear that if we see you in any other scenario, we don't interact with you. Maybe if we make eye contact, we can say hi and then we move on. Because again, if we want to be very clear that we are not going to talk about you, we're not going to discuss you as a client, then how do we do that? We do that by not acknowledging that you're a client, right? Because if we say hi, hello, and start talking to you, then people around us or people who are with us will ask, how do you know this person? And then we say, oh, this person is a client. And it's like, oh, so they're in therapy. And that's where it starts. And we don't want that connection, right? So we cut it off right there. We don't even go there. So if we see you in passing, we will most likely ignore you. And if by chance our eyes meet, we'll just nod at you or just say, hi, assalamu alaikum, and then we'll go just pass by. So these are the boundaries that you have to make sure that we're keeping, right? And then boundary of, okay, you're going to give us a payment. We're going to do the service. These boundaries are important because that way the relationship remains professional. And that way you can enforce the boundary of, okay, you're providing me a service. We're not friends. You can't just talk to me off the clock somewhere and be like, oh, hey, so how did it go? Did you talk to your mom about her being too snoopy out in a restaurant if you see me? And then that doesn't go into us being, crossing that boundary. And that situation doesn't, because then you can't control that. And even if you after that say, okay, I don't want therapy from you again, वो बात तो निकल गई जो निकल गई. And ये problem होता है कि अगर इस तरह होने लगे, and sometimes even clients honestly get upset कि आप मुझे फलां जगह मिली थी, आपने सलाम भी नहीं किया और आपने मुझे देखा भी नहीं और मैंने आपको सलाम किया तो आपने बस मुस्कुरा के और फिर आपने बात नहीं की. But it's for your own benefit, right? और अगर इस तरह हो जाए कि बातचीत हो और मैं पूछ लूँ, तुम अच्छा उस फ्रेंड के साथ आई हो, उसको तो तुमने कहा था तुम्हारी जब लड़ाई हुई थी, फलां, this and that. Things that you've told me in therapy, I've never done it, but I'm just saying, ऐसी situation हो चुकी है, हो जाती है, right? And then later on you're like, I don't want therapy. And then that client, हमारे पास फिर वो आते हैं कि आपकी फलां ने इस तरह कर दिया और इस तरह कह दिया, and I don't want therapy from them again, which is absolutely, fine, ऐसे ही होना चाहिए. But वो जो बात 2-3 बातें हो गई, वो निकल गई, वो तो निकल गई ना. अब you're not getting therapy from that person, and you shouldn't. But whatever they have said, that's gotten out already. So if you keep those boundaries very, very strict, then that conversation is not getting out. So it's from both sides, but mostly obviously from the therapist side, and you have to be sure that that boundary is maintained. And you have to make sure that your therapist is maintaining that boundary. And the other thing that's important is that make sure that your therapist is challenging you emotionally. Now, that means your therapist will be asking you, or should be asking you in different ways. Everybody has their own way of doing this and of engaging you in conversation while in therapy, while in the session. Okay, if for feedback, if you're getting enough from the therapy, and if you're getting enough from what they're giving you, and if this is worth it for you, give them the feedback. Don't just give them like a इस तरह का जवाब कि हाँ बिल्कुल सही है, मैं तो बहुत, this is really good for me. No, give them honest answers, because अक्सर तो we're able to tell. I mean, a lot of times we're able to tell from the communication and how it's going and what kind of progress you're making. And every time we speak to you, every time you come back, we see the changes over time because we read up on your history before every session or every month we catch up on it. And, so we can see. But sometimes when we're not able to tell or there's some discrepancies, we will ask. Give us honest answers. We need to know. That helps us in helping you. There is no trying to make your therapist happy. We are not, again, it's not that kind of relationship. It's a kind of a business transaction. Again, it's complicated because like I said, it's, we're talking about your deepest, most intimate situations and problems. But then we're here to give you a service. We're here to help you through things. But so we need you to be honest. You don't need to consider our feelings. You don't need to worry about us getting upset or feeling bad or anything like that. So if we're asking you for feedback and you say, yeah, no, I mean, I wanted to talk about this, but then you didn't go into it and it's fine. We might have a reason for it and we might explain it to you. And sometimes we might not even explain it to you because it might be too complicated or We might not even have a reason, but we will not get offended or upset about that, right? So tell us honestly. And on that note, it's okay to get upset at your therapist. It's okay to get angry. I mean, I don't mean just get rude for no reason. That's not okay. But if something is built up, if you're having emotions about it, just get it out. Again, we will not take offense. If it's coming to you, like not violence, not physical violence, or don't curse and stuff like that. But like when you're talking about things and you want to raise your voice and it's okay. Like, we will not take things personally. We will not get offended. And even if you feel like we did something that made you upset, you can say it. You can say, I didn't like the thing that you did. I didn't like you said this to me. I didn't like that you approached it with this. I didn't like that you blamed me for this. I didn't like, if you felt that we did these things, it is okay to do it. Because this is a professional relationship. We are trying to help you. We want to know how you feel about everything, including us. That helps us help you. We don't want you to please us, to try to make us happy. We don't want you to ask us about our day. We don't want you to... That's not what this is. It's not to be rude, but it's not a relationship, right? It's a one-sided thing. We want you to tell us how you're feeling, no matter what it's about. And we do want you to, for those of you who are extra trying to please their therapist because they feel like this is how you'll get us to like you. It's not about liking. We want you to be assertive. We want you to learn to speak your mind. And this is a good place to start because, again, it's supposed to be a safe space. You're supposed to be able to say everything and not feel like you will be judged for it and not feel like you will offend somebody or hurt anybody's feelings. And we are the last people whose feelings you will ever hurt. So this is the right place to do these kinds of things. And, ask, talking about finding the right therapist, ask questions. When you start out, maybe even before getting into letting them ask you questions about yourself, you could ask your therapist questions, professional questions. Like, of course, you will discuss hours, like, how many hours do they practice and how long your therapy, once they've asked you a little bit about yourself, okay, how long your therapy will last, how many months, how many weeks, how many years they anticipate. Some might be able to tell you. Not all of them will be able to give you an answer because everybody's therapy is different. Everybody's issues are different. So some might be able to tell you, but some might not. So don't depend on a particular answer. But it's okay to ask. And these things you're going to ask them. But you can ask them things like things that help you settle on whether you like them as a therapist for yourself or not. You can ask them things like why they became a therapist, related to their job, related to the profession, because you will be talking to them and you want to be satisfied. When you hire somebody for a job, the questions that you ask, I mean, of course, you're not going to spend the whole hour doing that, but you can ask things like, how they might be able to help you, or what kind of techniques will they use on you, or, again, why do they, is it because they like to help people? Is it, whatever, these kinds of things that will be helpful for you and that will tell you a little bit about them. So you can learn about them. And these things are okay to ask. And I feel like that opened up a dialogue, not just for you to learn a little bit about your therapist, but also makes you comfortable. I mean, don't ask them about how many kids they have and if they're married, if they're, those, or where they went to school. That's a legitimate question you can ask. So work-related questions. And I say that because those of us who are not familiar with therapy, haven't gotten it done before, these will help you ease into it when you know the person who you will be talking to about all of your problems, about intimate details about your life, right? So we tell you, कि किसी और को पता नहीं चलेगा, it will be a complete secret, and we will make sure कि आप paperwork sign कर लें और हम किसी और को नहीं देंगे, and it's completely discreet, and we tell you all these things, and we've told you how to sign up for it. Will be completely discreet. अगर आप online कर रहे हैं तो आप आप website पे जाएंगे या आप email करेंगे या आप DM करेंगे या आप call करेंगे, तो it's completely private. Nobody else finds out. और जब तक आप अपने therapist से बात नहीं कर रहे हैं उस वक्त तक तो आपको अपना last name भी देने की जरूरत नहीं है, right? You don't have to tell that person जिससे भी आप बात कर रहे हैं, आपको अपनी लास्ट नेम, अपनी और कोई डिटेल भी देने की जरूरत नहीं है, राइट? सिर्फ जब अपॉइंटमेंट बुक होता है उस वक्त आपको देना पड़ता है. सो ऑल दैट इज ग्रेट, राइट? लेकिन जब आप अपने थेरेपिस्ट से बात शुरू करते हैं तो फिर तो यू हैव टू ओपन अप. और उस पॉइंट पे आई नो कि वी कीप सेइंग कि उस वक्त तक आप कंप्लीटली प्राइवेट है, किसी को पता नहीं चलेगा, बट देन यू हैव टू ओपन अप. And I know कि उस वक्त भी एक hesitation होती है कि यार, this person I'm trusting with everything, what if that person doesn't keep all of the information to themselves? What if that person goes and tells people? So take that first meeting to also talk to them. And that will also be telling for you, okay, when you start to say, when you say, can I ask you a few things? And then when you ask them, of course, if you're not crossing certain ethical boundaries and not getting too personal, where did you study, and why did you become a therapist, and so what are you doing? How long do you think it's going to take for me, therapy for me, and these kinds of few questions, just to get yourself comfortable and at ease. That will tell you a lot about your therapist. That will tell you a lot about what kind of person they are, and how you can, first of all, it will make you comfortable that you know a little bit about this person that you will be talking to about so much in your life. And it will tell you, first of all, it will tell you about them, of course. And it will also tell you about their mindset. Are they open to discussing certain things? Are they open to taking a different approach where, okay, this person wants to feel comfortable. They're not comfortable going into and talking to a complete stranger. That makes them nervous. All right, so I need to make them comfortable before I start asking them questions. Let's create some comfortable vibes for them. So so the understanding level will be different. Every therapist understands that every individual that they talk to, every client is different. So the way you approach your therapist will make them understand how you are, and they will approach you in that way and deal with you in that way. Now, if they can't do that after you've approached them in a certain way, then that will tell you that they're not for you. Because again, everybody is different and they are also human. So if they can't deal with you, then they're not for you, and you know to move on. But give every therapist at least two. And some, if you just feel like, no, it's not working, that's fine too. But usually, regularly, just give a few sessions before you decide that it's just not working. Yeah. So, that's all I had for you. Go to our website, email, wellness@FemmeRepublica.com, or our profile over here, and book an appointment. And I am, by the way, not a psychologist. I'm a counselor and a coach. Counselors usually do a two-year certificate, a diploma, which is it could be in any subject, but I've done it in psychology, and I also practice, meaning I also take clients. Coaching is more problem focused, where I've talked about what therapy is, and counselors do therapy as well. So counseling, like therapy, like psychology, of course psychologists study, and they do bachelor's and then they do masters, and so that's a whole new, very, very long studying period. Counselors do pretty much the same thing, but we don't study that hard. We don't, I'm a journalist by proper profession. I've been doing that for 30 years, but this is just, I did that 10 years ago. So we pretty much do the therapy, counselors. Coaching is more problem focused, where you come to us with a particular problem where I want to do this. For example, I'm having a hard time concentrating at work. So we'll just figure out what this is, why you're not concentrating, make a schedule for you, get you up to speed on, okay, you need to do this here, that here, cut down your time here, increase your time there, do this, do that. You know, when are you going to sleep, when are you going to wake up, make a schedule for you. That's basically what coaches do. Literally, we coach. Counselors are more towards therapy, and we do kind of the same thing, but we don't go to school for that long. We don't, as long as the psychologists do. So that's the difference. So I'm a coach and a counselor, and I've been doing counseling for about 10 years, experience for 10 years. Coaching is more recent. And we have a bunch of psychologists, and you can get an appointment with anybody. And if you cannot decide which psychologist you want to go within our team, you're welcome to contact me. You can ask one of our team members, whoever picks up the phone or answers your email, to get in touch with me, and I can help you, depending on what the issue is, and we can sort it out together. All right. Thank you for being here. Thank you for participating. I love it when you guys are here and comment and ask questions. And, a lot of times you guys help me with, increase in the knowledge and in the information that I have, because anybody can learn from people, and you guys come with so much knowledge, and I appreciate that so much. And as far as the courses are concerned, please look in our bio over here, Instagram. We have information about them, and if not, then those of you who asked for the information, I have your handle, is it called, written down. We'll send you the info. And one of the courses is coming this month, coming very, very soon. And then we have consecutively, first we have the self-actualization with the Quran. And then we have the, which one do we have after that? We have the communication course, verbal and non-verbal communication. And then after that, we have journalism 101 course. So every month after that, we're going to have each course. Please look out for those. And I'm so excited to have these with you and interact with you and do activities. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Please join our courses. And I'll see you guys next time. Have a good night, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. And I'll see you soon. Peace.